Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight. I also do a twice a week long form podcast as well. Coffee with the Freight Coach is available on iTunes and Spotify. And we talk about transportation on there. And anybody who shows up and is a guest on that podcast is a transportation professional. Outside of my last one, who I just dropped today, it was with my friends over at the Make-A-Wish Foundation, again, spreading awareness out there on ways to give back. But outside of that, 99.9% of them is a transportation professional, because that's what we talk about out here, you guys. We put best practices out there. Most importantly, it's information that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me each and every day. Not only is this the greatest nation on earth, but I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you guys live your American dream as well. It's going to be a solo show today. Got a lot of stuff going on, as do all of you, and going to be mindful of your time. With that, we'll do a little bit of a lane analysis out there of a complete random city to random city run that I'll choose. We'll break down a couple of articles. And then, yeah, we'll go about on this amazing Freight Friday. Nathan, he's tuning in over on YouTube. Good fucking morning. He's got that American flag in his comment. I love seeing that. April Maroney, she says, Coach, we're picking up a first order for a new customer right now. It's a good fucking morning. We're calling it Fuck Yeah Friday. Let's fucking go. I need a cowbell for that. Maybe, or an air horn. No. I like air horns better. Or a fucking truck horn. That would be sick. I got a fancy thing over here that does all my audio stuff. I should see how I can download that truck horn, and we'll call it the new customer one for April. Zach Williams, happy Friday, everyone. Let's fucking go. If you guys want to become a freight agent with SPI Logistics, hit up my boy Zach. Join the team over there, you guys. Take control of your financial future. Sonny Sharma, Orange Shirt Gang. Let's all have a great Friday, he says. David K, good fucking morning. Happy Friday, y'all. My man Whitney Young tuning in over on YouTube. Good Friday, he says. He's got that American flag rocking in his comment out there. Xavier Campos, shout out to the Freight Coach Nation. Tracy O. St. Clair, good Friday morning. And yeah, I got the orange polo on underneath, but I don't know if you guys can see this. This is actually a Freight Coach hoodie that I got. And, you know, I'm always repping the brand here nonstop. Aaron, what's up? Truck horn, yes. Eric Favela, good fucking morning. Happy Friday, y'all. He's got that American flag in his comment too. And Eric Favela, he's got that step deck gang. I love it, man. Open deck in the house. Before we get into anything else, man, the comments are blowing up. I love it. I love the energy that we got going on today. I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers. And the best part about what they have, you guys, is you guys get paid to move these trailers. So talk about a great way to help offset some rising fuel costs and maintenance costs and everything else right now is you get paid to move this. And everything that's on there is on top of the revenue that you can get by loading out these trailers. So a couple of them right now, these are make an offer. All right. You got to go over to VHub and make an offer on this. They got some reefers in St. Cloud, Minnesota, going to Mississauga, Ontario. They also have a reefer down in Mason City, Iowa, needing to go over to Mississauga. They have a dry van over in Paragould, Arkansas, going up to Orting, Washington, just outside of Tacoma. And you get $15.50 to do that one, you guys. And then also Milton, Ontario to Moncton, New Brunswick, 400 Canadian to do that. So hit him up, you guys, vhubapp.com. Xavier Campos is already in the audience. Stacey Steen, she'll be tuning in as well. Just do me a favor, you guys. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Patrick Provance says, let's fucking go, SPI gang. Working hard to lock in a new shipper on the last day of the week. Get some, Patrick. That's what's up. I'm out here too, man. I do this in early morning. I got in. I've been prospecting this morning, trying to build up that customer base, one truckload at a time. That's Freight Coach's Logistics motto, one truckload at a time. This is also day 210 of the Freight Coach Tally. It's our 210th morning show that we've done on this. And it's also that reminder, you guys, we're bringing this up every single day. There's a truck parking issue in this industry. There's a facilities issue in this industry. Driver retention, drivers not having access to showers and food and everything that's out there. So again, you guys, we're going to continue to talk about this, and everybody who tunes into this show, we are going to be the change in this industry. All right. We are going to look back at this time, and it's going to come from this that makes the changes out there so we can keep people excited about freight. I love this industry. I love everything about this industry, and we are going to fight tirelessly until it has been achieved. Also, this is a national average diesel report for all my drivers out there who are listening. This is no surprise to you that it's sky fucking high, but it is $4.60 a gallon nationwide. It's up 82 cents a gallon year over year. And I get all of this information from the EIA, you guys, EIA.gov. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into some topics here. Well, the articles will be coming up here in a second, but first, with it being a solo show, we are doing a random lane analysis out here. We're going to pull up my stomping grounds, where I grew up, that area of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and going down to Tampa, Florida. We're going to go on this one, and reefer is going to be the freight type. And the 7-day tally that they're going on out here, you guys, is 321, including fuel out there. And if you pull it all the way back to the 90-day tally, it's dropped 20 cents over this time frame. We're at 341 at the 90-day mark. We're at 349 at the 60-day mark, and 361 at the 30-day mark. So again, you can tie that into holiday freight. And then it dropped to 337 at the 15-day mark, and then it's down to 321 out there. So again, I would, it's honestly, even if you pull out the year lane analysis on there, it hovers around where it's currently at right now at this 321 mark. So if you're going to go out there, I would try and stay as consistent with this. Obviously, always try and get a little bit more money if you can. But yeah, realistically, if you're looking to lock in some long-term pricing on this freight right now, I would do that. I would take this rate, especially if you're getting it to a customer, and I would honor this rate for the foreseeable future, because again, I think that it's going to get better as we talk about on here. But I think for short term, locking in that consistent freight right now is going to be very key for navigating through Q1 here. So that is my rate analysis or lane analysis that we got going on here. All right. With it being Friday out there, I know a lot of you guys are looking to get out of work early or possibly, but we're gonna jump right into some articles here. First one is going to come from fleetowner.com. And also always let me just remind you, if you guys have any sales and operations related questions, DM me them or drop them in the comments on YouTube or on LinkedIn here. Or on Twitter, if you're watching it over there as well, you guys drop it in there and I will answer them live on the show. Also, to all my driver friends who are watching this right now, drop your equipment type in there, truck, trailer, what kind of freight you're looking for, what lanes you want to run as well. And then all my broker friends who are out here watching this, you guys, we can get you connected on that and get some good freight, because trust me, if they're watching this show, they're a quality broker. And if it turns out that that's not the truth, let me know. We'll make it right. Sonny Sharma says, good, more coffee, please. I'm right there with you, man. I got this big old mug here that I'm trying to get down. Papa Freight's in the house. Good morning, Steven. Thanks for joining. All right, you guys. First article is from fleetowner.com. Current execs turn attention to trucking's next generation of leaders. As the commercial vehicle world continues its technological evolution, industry executives are grappling with the changing workforce and a need for new skill sets. How today's leaders process data and foster the next generation of trucking executives are two pillars set up a foundation for success. This was a major message during a leadership panel discussion at the 2023 Heavy Duty Aftermarket Dialogue in Grapevine, Texas. During this, 4 up-and-coming leaders from commercial vehicle industry suppliers wrestled with and advised on how trucking can prepare itself for a changing of the guard. With data and technology continuously becoming a larger part of trucking, has this changed the skill sets needed to be brought into the industry? In short, yes. Jack Chung is VP of Product Management at Norgon Systems, said it's important to differentiate what kind of data we're looking for, whether the vehicle data generated through the ADAS components, EV battery systems, electronic motors, and more geographical areas. We have a huge amount of data that's being processed, he said, and the most important thing for my company and myself is trying to understand how we can utilize that data and generated conclusions useful for our customers for our research and development. Chung added that Norgan is looking for data scientists. When thinking of back office jobs that have been historically pen and paper, they're now getting digitized, says CJ Biak, global market manager at Growth Industries. How can we start training people we have by bringing in that have that type of background, familiar with the systems? The goal here is to be able to translate that data. Okay. Hold on a second. All right. How does this data get to the end user? Again, I think like for me, seeing where data is as an industry, seeing that information that's out there and how does it translate in, I think coming from an old school freight perspective, I think that a lot of it to me, data and technology is geared to make you more efficient. I personally think that if you're smart when it comes to investing in technology, is you can maximize your current team with it. Now, I know this article was more talking for the other side of the industry, but I think kind of correlating it in, for me personally, like as my companies grow out, I'm not looking to replace anybody with technology. Again, and I'll say this, 95% of my job and my team's job should be automated. But at the end of the day, it's to make them more efficient. It's to increase their output. It's to make them more and more effective with their customers and their carrier partners as well. But again, I think like it's like, talking about the industry as a whole, how do we attract that next generation of people in here? Because I'm going to be 37 here in a couple months. And what's important to me is irrelevant to somebody who's probably 23. And it's also irrelevant to somebody who's 10 years older than me at the same time. So again, it's like, and this is a big push about a lot of the content that I put out there. It is attracting that next generation of transportation professionals to come in, whether you're a driver, a data scientist, a dock worker, it doesn't fucking matter to me. It's on us to bring people into this industry. Let me see. Fleets can become more attractive to younger people and those that have advanced skill sets by being aware of the next generation's desire for a higher quality of life or a more distributed work-life balance. All right. Balance, work-life balance is achieved. All right. I think that if you're going to come in and say that you need a work-life balance, go fucking work part-time. All right. Don't expect to come in with this and say that I need X amount of time off in a year because I need balance and expect to get paid a 7-figure or 6-figure job. Because, the fact of the matter is a balance is earned. All right. Balance is earned through a lot of hard work. And if you want it, you can have it. You can have all the work-life balance in the world, but you have to earn it. That's not an expectation as soon as you're day one on the job. Let me see. They're talking about, the work-life, like with, job flexibility so you can take your kids, to school and everything, and hybrid work environment where work is more effectively done at home, or maybe you're in the office, but you can leave early. It's okay. It's okay to recognize you have a life outside of work. Work-life flexibility and being able to relay to candidates more than a job description of a role. When you think of the younger generation coming into the workplace, something that they're all here's, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, is that they're builders. They don't want to be handed a task list day one. They want to feel a sense of ownership that they're building something. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that, me personally, people want to feel like they're a part of something. And I think that that's very key as you're building any organization or any team is making people feel a part of something bigger because, to sit here and say that money is the biggest deciding factor, it wasn't the biggest deciding factor for me when I was younger. I could have easily took on a more lucrative role, but was I a part of something, growing something and building something, or was I just going to be another cog in the fucking the wheel out there? And I think that that's the thing is portraying that and getting that out there. But when it comes to like hybrid work models and stuff, I think a lot of that stuff is earned at the end of the day, because if you prove that you can perform, then people won't have a problem, leaving work. But again, I've also of the mindset that as long as your shit's getting done, I really don't care where it's done. But I also love the in-office environment. I love the camaraderie that is built up by working in a team environment. Again, I don't know. I'm kind of fluid in my mindset on that because it might change in due time. I like being in the office. I think that there's a lot of power for myself in separating my home life from my work life, because I found that, especially like when I was building up everything right away, for those of you who are following me, I started this all out of my bedroom a few years ago. I'd never like turned it off, and I was always working no matter what. And it was literally right in front of me at all times. And then getting an office space and, as business grew and everything, was having that separation factor was, I think it's very key. And I think like that's where, if I want to use the term work-life balance, that's what it is. It's like when I'm home, I'm home. Like that doesn't mean I don't answer emails. That doesn't mean that I don't do things, but like I'm present when I'm at home. And I personally like that separation factor. And I think when you blur the lines and blend those lines, that's when a lot of stuff starts to, I think it gets more and more challenging to find that balance if that's what you're looking for. But again, this is just what works for me. Let me see here. Again, that it's an interesting article to read, you guys. It really is, because I my opinions are my opinions. I like actually reading people who have polar opposite opinions of me, because again, I don't know everything. I know a lot of what not to do, but I'm always open to learning a different perspective. But when it comes down to a lot of things that I'm seeing out there about demands, that you are, the changing of the guard, if you will, on certain things is, if we're going to adapt to the next generation, that next generation also understands that it needs to be earned, and that's one thing that I'm really working on, is making sure that, everything's earned. And I think that the more you put in, the more you'll get out with that. But that article, fleetowner.com, current execs turn attention to trucking's next generation of leaders. As always, you guys, every article that I break down is going to be, sorry, there's a ringing in my ear there. Every article that's broken down is going to be uploaded to the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay, which is available on iTunes and Spotify. And if you guys do go over to those other platforms, as always, do your boy a solid. Subscribe if you're over there. Share the show. Rank the show on those other platforms, because you guys, that helps everything out. Because if you guys see value in this, your network's going to see value in this as well. Stephen Title says, more and more of my employees are part-time. They're on my payroll, but I give them projects and they choose what they want to do. I pay more to do shit jobs well. Oh, man, I love it. That's awesome. Patrick Provan says, huge struggle for me being disabled and working from home. When I'm successful enough, I want to have a small office space to go to. Yeah, man. Patrick, I think that that's one thing to definitely work towards, bro. And it's something that, being able to separate that was key. And again, dude, I mean, whatever you can do to get out there and achieve that goal. I'm a big believer in manifestation and vision boards and all of that stuff, man. So I would look into it. I would read, I'm reading a book right now. I can send you that as well, man. It helps put things into perspective on what you're trying to accomplish there. Rick Wooten, good morning all. Happy Friday. He says, all right, next article, ttnews.com. Bill would let younger drivers move freight at ports. Legislation that aims to allow young commercial drivers to transport freight from ports was recently introduced. Brian Mast from Florida, the Ceasing Age-Based Trucking Restriction, or the CAB Trucking Restriction Act, would classify certain statewide freight operations linked to ports as in-state matters. For the better part of 2 years, families have struggled to get the goods they need, from baby formula to toilet paper, and Joe Biden has failed to fix that. Mast said statement that accompanied the bill's introduction. House Republicans are ready to get to work to deliver for the American people, added Mast, member of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. The first bill I'm introducing this Congress keeps our promise to fix the supply chain by cutting through red tape, and that has qualified to keep qualified drivers off the road. Truckers who are 18 to 20 are allowed to drive commercial vehicles interstate commerce in nearly every state and the District of Columbia. However, these drivers are prohibited from transporting freight originating from U.S. ports of entry. Such ports are considered interstate commerce. Changing that would classification at ports would pave the way for truck drivers 18 to 20 years old out there. Let me see here. Sponsors of the bill also include Republicans Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Ashley Hinson of Iowa, and Burgess Owens of Utah. American supply chain is in crisis, Owens said. Struggling businesses in Utah and across the nation require immediate action to ease these harmful disruptions out there. More Republican sponsors are Tom McClintock of California, Michael Guest of Mississippi, and Randy Feenstra of Iowa. From food and fuel to furniture and fertilizer, Iowa truckers work overtime to keep our shelves stocked out there. I personally, I don't see how this is a problem. Like, I am a proponent of 18 to 20-year-olds being able to cross state lines. When it boils down to it, to me, you guys, if you're mature enough to enlist in the military and go fight overseas, you're mature enough to drive a truck. I think a lot of it just boils down to proper training. I think that if you invested in this the right way, we could attract a lot more people into this industry and retain them. But I think a lot of it's going to boil down to training. I don't think it's here's 30 hours. Now you get out there and run. I think like having a build-up approach to it. If somebody introduced a training platform for drivers to help them kind of graduate through performance metrics and everything else, I think this is a great idea. Because again, I think when it boils down to it, if you're 18 years old and you're mature enough to go, fight overseas, you're mature enough to drive a truck across state lines. So again, I think that this, but it's a lot of it to me is going to boil down to training. Let me see going on there. I'm just skimming over some of this stuff, you guys, because some of it isn't exactly relative. Let me see. We're doing everything that we can to improve the careers in the professions that power our supply chain. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg said, we're building new truck parking so that drivers can get safe rest. And then there's Women in Trucking Advisory Board, investing in my fellow veterans to get opportunities to enter the transportation workforce debt-free. And yeah, I think that, let me see, Jonathan Eisen, the inability of the intermodal supply chain to handle the volume of imported freight that we saw for much of the last 2 years has long-term impacts on our economy. I think we can all agree that the ports were very backed up for a myriad of reasons. And adding more drivers into the mix, I don't think would have helped at that time because they couldn't offload stuff fast enough. They couldn't store it fast enough. The ports weren't equipped for the influx that was out there due to the shutdowns. So again, I want to see the investment in this, but I think that if we're going to look at everything, getting more drivers on the road, I think is a great start with it. And I think that we also need to look at other parts of it because drivers are a part of the supply chain. And if you can't, if there's no chassis, because I know there's a massive chassis shortage and everything that was going on during that time as well. So there's a lot of different things, but again, one step at a time with it. I think this is a great idea as long as there is proper training put into this. I think that would be key. And then there would be more receptive out there as a whole. That article is from ttnews.com, and Bill would let younger drivers move freight at ports. Let me see. Deshaun Falls, good morning. Thanks for joining, man. I appreciate that. Todd Brink, I drove a semi legally when I was 14 years old. That was a few years ago in Iowa. Todd, did that have to do, so growing up in Wisconsin, I believe it might have changed when I grew up, but if you could do that, if you were on your parents' property for farms, I don't know if it was a farm exemption that you're talking about there, Todd. I don't know if you could clarify that, but I want to say I heard that growing up, but it was long as if it was between your family's property and it was a farm related move. I want to say that's what it was. All right. I think we got time for one more article. And I wanted to talk about this company because they're from Wisconsin at the end of the day. And this one's from ttnews.com. And it was Martin Transport reports 16th consecutive profitable quarter. That is fucking awesome. Todd says, legal on the highway with my father riding with me. Hey, all right, man. Learn something new every day. Martin Transport recorded higher fourth quarter earnings, marked its 16th consecutive year-over-year increase. The Mondovi, Wisconsin, again, shout out to small town Wisconsin. Mondovi, Wisconsin is like a town of 2,000 people. It's the size of my hometown up in Osceola, Wisconsin. Let me see there. Temperature controlled transportation services had a net income of $25.5 million or 31 cents per diluted share for the 3 months ending in that time frame. Our talented, disciplined people earned our 16th consecutive quarter of year-over-year profit growth. Overcoming a freight environment made more challenging with additional pressure from rail service weakness and severe weather, said Randy Martin. He's the executive chairman there. In 2022, we attained our 5th consecutive year with reach of our then highest operating revenues and operating income, and our 3rd consecutive year with our then best operating ratio net of fuel surcharges since Martin became a public company in 1986. The results were slightly above expectation by investment analysts out there, which were looking for 30 cents per share quarterly revenue of $321.3 million. And then for the full year, Martin reported an income of $110 million or $1.35 on revenue of $1.26 billion, compared to with a net income of $85.4 million. Full year of revenue was the highest amount in its 77-year history. And in comparison, the truckload segment reported revenue during the fourth quarter of 23.7% to $131.3 million that were out there. The dedicated segment saw revenue, and then in also it was just increase across the board for Martin. And again, it's good to see. It's good to see this again. I don't have a lot of personal ties to Martin Transport outside of, got to give a shout out to Wisconsin-based companies anytime I can. But again, I like seeing this. And I think that for us to get this, out there again, it just shows that the quality of that company is it's growing and they're scaling up and they are growing. And again, I like seeing companies run profitable. I think that again, for you out there, even as a smaller carrier or a small fleet, to be able to look at this and, because again, success leaves clues. Go out there and look at some of this, read some of these reports, you guys. What trends are they following? Now, again, I know that they have a lot more assets to play with in regards to physical, building location, trucks, trailers, all of that stuff, as well as liquidity. But again, I would look at it, see what they're doing. What are their trends? What are they following? And see how you can find some comparisons to a lot of that to help you stay in business. But again, you guys, that article was from ttnews.com, and it was Martin Transport reports 16th consecutive profitable quarter. But that's it for today, you guys. That was the 3 articles. As always, I want to be mindful of everybody's time. And plus, I got a few things I got to get tied up here. Again, I'm in the fight with you guys. I'm building up my company, Freight Coach Logistics, building it all up, broker carrier. We're doing it all, you guys. And yeah, we're going to get after it. But as always, you guys, if you guys saw value in what we talked about here today, share the show, because that's how that's how we are the top transportation podcast, is because of each and every one of you sharing the show. We'll be back on Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.